Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. So we're here today to do another Team Yankee product unboxing and review. Today we're going to be looking at the BMP Motor Rifle Battalion for the Warsaw Pact forces. I'm personally going to be using this for my Soviets, but everything in the box also works for the rest of the Warsaw Pact as well. So hopping right in, let's take a look at the back of this. So we're going to get 9 BMP-1s or BMP-2s. Those sprues can build either vehicle. You're going to get 9 assault rifle teams, 6 RPG-7 anti-tank teams, 5 T-55 tanks, and then you're going to get 2 support vehicle sprues that can either be built as gaskins or spandrels. You're going to get 2 Frogfoot Su-25 aircraft, as well as your flight stands, your rulebook, the Start Here booklet, and your unit cards for all of the Warsaw Pact variations of all of these units. So let's actually take a look in here. So as you can see, this box is absolutely crammed full of goodness. So I'm going to jump cut and get everything out of here, and then we'll take a look at the contents. All right, so we're back. So first up, we've got our Warsaw Pact Start Here booklet. We'll take a closer look at that in a moment. We've got our copy of the rulebook, which I'm not going to go over the rules in this video. I will do a video in the future, and once I do, I'll go ahead and link that up in the cards. But what we really care about is all of this plastic. So it looks like your infantry are done in resin. I'll do some close-ups of these guys, but the detail looks absolutely immaculate for 15 mil. We get some Tank Commander sprues as well. Got our flight bases, which I believe that you're able to magnetize these. We'll go ahead and take a look at that in a minute. Get a baggie with all of our unit cards and some decals. Got our infantry bases. And then 9 of these BMP-1, BMP-2 sprues. Same great detail that we all know and love from Battlefront. These look absolutely amazing. We've got our T-55 sprue. Looks like you've got some turret options there. Looking at the side skirts, it looks like these might be easier to deal with than the T-64s from the 2-player starter, but I'll let you know for sure once I get those built. Then we've got our spandrel slash, forget what the other vehicle's name was, gaskin. You could build either one off of this sprue. And then 2 of our Frogfoot sprues. So the aircraft, which is just kind of an interesting note, is a different scale from the vehicles, which they kind of operate more as a token in the game, so I guess that's okay. But the aircraft are actually, they say it here on the box. At least I thought they did. Oh, there it is. They're 144. So just interesting to note. But now we're going to hop down to the computer. We'll analyze the contents of the box and see how many points we're working with. All right, so let's take a look at the Start Here booklet for the BMP Motor Rifle Platoon. So in the 2-player starter set, this is actually more of a book. But in this box set, it's actually a trifold type deal. So let's just take a look at it down here on the table. So we're going to get some quick instructions for the BMP 1 and 2, the T-55s, the Spandrels, and then our Su-25 front puts. However, I do recommend they give you the website for the step-by-step and assembly instructions. I highly recommend you give those a look. They're very well done, and they have detailed step-by-step pictures for you. Then if we flip this over on the back, it's going to go ahead and have all of our point values for all the different Warsaw Pact armies. So for the Soviets, which is how I'm going to run them, it's 30 points. For the Czechoslovakians, it's going to be 26 points. East Germans, it's going to be 29 points for you. And then for the Polish, it's going to be 30 points. And then over here in the middle, they have some recommendations for how to expand the force and where to go from here. All right, so let's go ahead, head down to the hobby desk, and we'll go ahead and take a look at all of those sprues up close. All right, so let's take a look at the infantry that come in the box. So these are going to be in a resin. And now the details on these are actually really, really phenomenal. So even though it's 15 millimeter scale and these are, you know, absolutely tiny miniatures, there's actually really, really great crisp detail on these models. So unfortunately, it does look like in transit, a couple of guys got knocked off of the sprue. I'll have to fish those out. I do like for these smaller miniatures how they come on the sprue. It makes it so much easier to paint them because they're all nice, evenly spaced. You can, you know, hold the sprue, go ahead, get them sprayed and primed, and then they're already ready to go for assembly line painting. So you can, you know, knock out a sprue really, really quickly, honestly in a matter of minutes, and then get them stuck down to their bases. But yeah, so these infantry are great. It does look like, oh man, it looks like some of these actually got a little damage in transit. Yeah, it's looking like just 3. So actually it was everybody off of this one sprue. They all came from the same sprue. So that'll actually make it easy to glue them down back onto their little bases. Now with these being resin, you do want to make sure that you are using super glue when you attach these to the bases, which is going to be a little bit different from everything else that we've looked at because it's all hard plastic and you're able to use plastic glue. But overall, really, really pleased with these infantry. I did want to show you guys one of the RPG teams as well. Yeah, that detail is just super awesome. If you keep your paint thin and hit these guys with like an enamel wash or an oil wash to make them pop, they're going to look great. Right, so next up we have the BRDM2 sprue. Now this sprue is actually really, really cool. I was mistaken before, it actually builds 3 different vehicles. So you get the BRDM2, the Gaskin anti-air vehicle, and then the Spandrel anti-tank vehicle. And so now with 2 of these, they will have a magnetizable turret. So here's the turret housing for the BRDM2, and then your anti-air vehicle has this quad launcher system, and then your anti-tank uses this mounting plate that actually sits on top of the magnet hole in the hull. So as long as you don't glue that plate down to the top of the vehicle, you can magnetize your 2 turret options and then just leave this to where it will sit on top of the hull, and it's actually kind of keyed to just slot right over that magnet hole. So you can actually build all 3 vehicles and swap between them with, whatever your list happens to need whenever you get ready for a game. Alright, so here is the T55 sprue. This will build the T55AM as well as the T55AM2. The big difference between the 2 kits is going to be which turret you use and then the side skirts. Everything else is largely similar between them. They do have slightly different barrels as well, and it looks like different machine guns, and looks like your front hatches might be a little bit different as well. But again, really great sharp detail on these kits. Will really handle pin washing very well. Alright, so here we have the BMP1/BMP2 sprue. So you have 2 separate hulls. One is going to be for the BMP1, the other one's going to be for the BMP2. I don't actually know which is which, but you get your undercarriage, 1 set of tracks, and then you get 2 complete turrets. And because these are keyed for magnets, if you just make a decision as to which hull you're going to go with, you will still be able to switch vehicles. It won't be completely historically accurate, but you will be able to show, 1 turret versus the other. So that's a very neat inclusion for this kit. As you can tell, lots of really nice sharp detail. Par for the course for Battlefront, from what I've seen from them so far. So overall, this frame looks like a good kit. Alright, so here are the Su-25 sprues for the Frogfoot aircraft. So you get 2 of these in the box, so a fuselage sprue and then a sprue with your wings and your bombs, and your cockpit. So the details on these are a little bit shallower than all of the tanks that I've seen. Let's see if we can get up really close. So you really want to make sure that you're not heavy-handed with your paint. It would be very easy to clog the details on this miniature. Now, I did also want to, while we have this, take a look at the Battlefront flight stand system. So, honestly, this is probably one of the best manufacturer flight stands I've personally come across. These are nice and thick. It's gonna take some doing to try and break this, unlike flight stands from certain other manufacturers that snap if you happen to look at them for longer than a couple of seconds. Now, the other thing that's really cool is that it has a socket. I don't know if you can see that, and I don't have any dice on my desk, which is a oh no, I lied. I do have dice. Demonstration time. So there's a socket built into the base where you can set a die inside of the tray, and as long as you're not slapping the plane around, it should stay within that space. Also, the flight stand sprue comes with a magnet collar that will slip onto the top of your flight stand, and you can glue that if you wanted. And then this top section will take a 5mm by 1mm deep magnet. So you can magnetize your flight stand, you can get a magnet in your aircraft model, and these things are going to be super secure for you. Alright, so we've got some decals that were mixed in with the card pack. So this set is going to be for the Frogfoot. So you get some nose art, as well as the Soviet star and some unit numbers. Then you've also got some tank company numbers, which yeah, I don't. Oh, there we go. If we get really close, it'll sort of focus. The numbers are white, so it's kind of hard with the white light that I'm using to record for the camera to pick that up. But you get plenty of these numbers for all of your tanks. So that's a very nice inclusion. And let's take a look at these cards. So now, these are essentially going to be the same cards, but for each of the different Warsaw Pact countries. So here are the Soviet versions, which are really the only version that I care about. And then here are that. Oh, what? Oh, interesting. So I haven't seen one of these double spread cards before. So that threw me for a loop. But this just shows you that for the Soviets, here are the base formations that you're allowed to take. And yep, we've got these for all of the Warsaw Pact countries. So for Poland, here are your core formations that you're allowed to use, and then your support, and then for East Germany, your core formations, and then your support options. I'm on focus. These are a little glossy, so the lights are giving me a little bit of a headache. And then for the Czech, here's your core formations, and then your support options. So those are cool. I hadn't seen those before, having only really looked at the two-player starter set. So yeah, so let's actually dig into the unit cards. We'll start with the Soviets, just because I'm partial. So here's your HQ for the BMP Motor Rifle Battalion. And then over on the back, you get your army building rules as well as your points cost. Then for your motor rifle companies, your actual platoons, you get their stats. And then there are point cost and special rules. Then the BMP ones, which I'm probably going to build mine as BMP 2s. Come on. See, I wanted to leave the autofocus on, and now it's just not cooperating. Alright, so here go the BMP 2s. And there are points and special rules on the back. Maybe if we give it a little bit more light, it might cooperate a little bit better. There we go. Oh, interesting. So you get a card for if it's a transport, and then you also get a card for the infantry. I did not notice that. So did they? Oh yeah. They did the same thing for the BMP ones. I missed it. So then you get the SU-25 frog foot. And your point cost and special rules. Come on, focus. There we go. And the spandrel. And I'm going to call out missed opportunity here because the sprue can build 3 different vehicles. They only gave you the one card. Little bit of a bummer, but if you're making your list with, you know, popular list building tools like Battlefront's Forces of War, or, you know, if you're using Battlescribe, you'll have the rules. It still would have been nice to include the cards. And then here is the T-55 with your points cost and special rules on the back. Alright, so let's break down the value of the BMP Motor Rifle Battalion starter set. So the box retails for $110 USD. That is the MSRP price. However, a lot of times at, you know, online gaming stores and sometimes even friendly local game stores, you can get a little bit of a discount off of that price. I've seen anywhere from 10 to 15% if you look around online. But the table below breaks down 2 things for you guys. So the first value column, the retail value, is how much it would cost you know, per model in the box. And then the column to the right of it, the actual retail cost, shows you what you would actually in reality need to pay for those models because of how the models come packaged. So case in point, for the very first row, the 9 BMPs that you get in the box, the retail value is $90, because if you take a box of 5, divide that by 5, you get $10 per BMP. You get 9 of them in the box. So the retail value is $90, but if you were to actually go buy those 9 BMPs in a retail store, you can only buy them in boxes of 5. So you're actually going to spend $100. But looking at the total retail value of the box, it's worth $219. If you are going to buy all of this individually, you actually end up spending $262. So this MSRP is roughly about a 50% discount of the retail value, and it's actually greater than that if you are going to buy everything individually, which means that this starter set, if you like everything that you have in here, it's an incredible value. All right, everybody. So here is the all of the assembled vehicles from the starter force. So up first, we've got our T-55s. We've got 5 of those. Then we've got 9 BMPs. I built mine as the BMP-2s. And then I modeled the Commander's BMP with the open hatch. Then we've got 2 of the Gaskin anti-air vehicles. Now, I did magnetize all of the turret options. There are 4 there because I had 2 extra vehicles from another kit. And then we've got our 2 Su-25 Frogfoot aircraft. Now, I did not put the infantry on the bases just yet because I'm going to paint them on the sprues like we talked about earlier, and they're not ready yet. But do keep in mind that in addition to all of these vehicles, you're also going to get the 15 stands of infantry. So overall, I think this is a really great starter force for the Warsaw Pact nations, specifically for the Soviets, as I will be fielding them. It does give you, roughly half of a full army all in one box at a pretty deep discount. The other thing that's really great about these Warsaw Pact boxes is that the starter forces are actually very complementary to one another. So in my next video, up in the cards, I'll have it linked, we're going to go ahead and review the other one, the T-72 Tank Battalion. And then after that video, I'm going to do one more video showing you how you can actually combine the 2 forces into one army and get really, really close to that full 100 points. But overall, I really, really am impressed with the Battlefront tank kits. Really great details. They look really, really good. They go together really simply, and I think they will tank paint beautifully. I did a little bit of research. Now, these planes, specifically in this gray plastic, they're actually from, I believe it's a South Korean company called Academy. These are not my favorite kits. They were super fiddly to get together. The details on them are very, very shallow. However, that is a very minor gripe. If you have access to an airbrush, you'll still be able to paint these and get them to look really, really good. And I'm not showing them here, but the flight stands, again, I think they're some of the best flight stands that I've seen in a tabletop game yet. So that's it for this video. If you like the content, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all the algo stuff, and stay tuned for more content for Team Yankee. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one.